For once, a game goes in South Africa's favor in a tight game like this. I mean, luck was on South Africa's side today, I would say. 100% in this victory. They beat Bangladesh by 4 runs in a very tightly contested game. It's a funny one because there were a lot of negatives to talk about in this game from a batting perspective, but then yet there is also a major positive that came out of the middle order. And then once again, with the ball, you'd hope that South Africa can really find a way to defend any total. We've always said that we have a bowling attack that can probably defend any total. And today they proved that they can. This was a game that was, in my opinion, in Bangladesh's hands. It was their victory, it was their game to lose, and they lost it. In the end, that's what actually took place. But there are some concerns, and we're going to be sitting here talking about some of the concerns again. But I would like to call for some clear minds and calmness from the fan base when it comes to this particular team, particularly the batters. Now, I'll explain that a little bit later on. But luckily, South Africa have come out of this game with a victory, and this is the perfect scenario for South Africa. 3 out of 3, 6 points, net run rate of 0.603. It looks like their chances of qualifying is almost inevitable now. We obviously Bangladesh will need to win, or Netherlands will have to win their next match by quite a lot of runs to creep up the net run rate, because our net run rate is a lot higher than the rest of the teams in this league, and we'd obviously have to lose to Nepal by quite a few runs. But I'd like to give some credit to a lot of the players, particularly the bowlers, and the way they approached their bowling in this match. But ultimately, I'm happy. South Africa winning all 3 games. That's a massive positive for me as a South African cricket fan. We had to fight for every single victory, and that might help us in the long run. Winning games when you are not 100% in every single department is a massive positive for any team, I would say. And I think that will give us the perfect opportunity against Nepal to let loose a little bit, even though I don't want us to underestimate a team like Nepal. I wouldn't write any team off. Particularly South Africa can't afford to do so. When they do start to take things a little bit easy, we tend to see how we end up. We end up in scenarios like we felt in the last couple of World Cups that we've played. So I don't want any. I don't want them. I want them to be ruthless in the next game. But we are sitting here positively smiling. I mean, for a large portion of the game, I was pretty peeved off. So it's just one of those games again where I was on in a roller coaster of emotions. We took some risks as well in this match, I think, and the risks in the end paid off. But some of them, uh, it could have been a very difficult, a very different scenario if any of those match situations went another way. But we'll talk about it on today's show. But before we get going, before we get started, please subscribe to the channel, click that notification bell for all future videos. We are very close to that 5,000 subscriber mark. Please help us get there. Let's try to get there before the Super 8s. So if we can get there before the knockout stages, that would be amazing. Help us, please do that. And you can also help us by smashing the like button as well. It's very important that you guys do so. And also comment when this video is finished. When the live stream has ended, we need your comments in the comment section after the video is done as well. So without further ado, let's get straight into today's video. And I'm looking forward to discussing this with you guys. interesting game to discuss. A very good evening and welcome to Cricket Fanatics Magazine. This is your review show. I'm your host Khalid Mohideen, and this is the show where we talk about everything that has to do with South Africa's victory over Bangladesh. Now, so the Proteas have won this match by 4 runs, taking the game right into the final over Bangladesh. Really struggling with the bat to try to hit boundaries at the end, which we knew that was going to happen regardless of the scenario. But let's start with the toss. And I think that was the first risk that Aiden Markram as captain took, deciding to bat first when with this bowling lineup we had a lot of great performances bowling first. I was a bit shocked that we decided to bat first on the strip. Although we did see that, for example, in the match yesterday as well between Pakistan and India, we saw that it was a difficult pitch to chase on, and even with a low total on the board. Now, I don't think that Aiden Markram, as the skipper and the batting coach and the coach would have thought that South Africa would have collapsed again batting first. We have a lot of confidence in batting first, generally speaking. So it was quite a shock that we collapsed the way we did. But at the same time, it wasn't a shock given that the form that these batters have been in. Now, I know that a lot of people are going to feel a certain way and say that we should now drop players because of the performances on the bounce. I don't think that that would be the right idea and the right decision going into the Nepal game. It actually would be the perfect opportunity for our top order to find their form heading into the Super Eights. So for me personally, I wouldn't want us to change this team. It's a winning team. Keep it going into the knockout stages. The delivery that Riza Hendricks got, the delivery that Aiden Markram got were two great deliveries. I think that Quinton de Kock's dismissal was a little bit of a lack of judgment because two previous balls before, the line and length that the Bangladesh bowled, it was he swung and he missed at it. And then he went across the line to a delivery on this pitch to the fast bowlers on this particular wicket is not a good decision unless you know for certain that the ball is going down leg, not and across your body, not coming in from off stump and swinging in at the fourth stump. So there is a problem that I have with regards to certain approaches on this wicket. We haven't approached this wicket and the conditions as well as I'd liked. Too many dot deliveries again when we bat on this a pitch like this. I know it's not a great pitch, and that is the case for all teams that have played on this wicket. But we need to find a way on how to find singles and doubles on tricky pitches and not block out and play shots that are kind of forcing dot deliveries. I don't like so many dots in a game on a pitch like this. So that is something that we need to fix. Cricket is a game. It's a funny game. You're not gonna have a scenario ever, I feel, where every single batter in the top six is gonna perform. Now, in 3 matches now, our middle order has saved us and bailed us out of trouble. It's time now that our top order does the same thing. And when that happens, the likelihood of our middle order failing is probably high. But this South African team needs a top order to perform, to put themselves into strong positions. And I feel that the guys like Riza and Quinton and Aiden have all the ability to do so, but they should be criticized for the performances. It's as clear and simple as that. I remember that in previous World Cups, when other players, certain players, didn't perform, we would criticize them, and it's only fair that we criticize them when they bat when they bat poorly. Now, this is a common trend now for Riza Hendricks. When he's off form, he's off form. Like he'll go for a duck or very, very low score, and he'll look almost um, uncertain at the crease when he's struggling a bit. Now he struggled to get used to this wicket, and particularly against bowlers that have bowled at test match lengths, he's really struggled for against that consistency. And that's something that he needs to improve. He needs to find a way, even when he does get good deliveries and loses his wicket. And for me, at the moment, I don't think we can we should get too aggressive about this. I feel that this team will come good. If this now we sit with a scenario where do you take a risk or not? Now, I think against Nepal should be the last opportunity for the stop order before we decide to make changes. It's not like we can make many changes anyway when it comes to the top order. We only have really one batter on the bench that can come in. So we need to make a decision. Are we going to drop? Who are we going to drop for Rickleton? Ultimately, that would be the case. But I think Nepal is the chance for this top order to find some form, find some form and some rhythm, so that they can go into the knockout stages with a lot of confidence. That should be the aim. South Africa found themselves down 3 wickets for 23, 4 wickets for 23 in 4.2 overs within the power play. And that was a massive, massive downfall for South Africa with regards to the bat. But we had a great performance from Heinrich Claasen and David Miller on his birthday. They put on a great partnership to take South Africa over the 100-run mark before Heinrich Claasen lost his wicket. Um, Heinrich obviously trying to be aggressive and then ended up losing his wicket. Um, and in those type of scenarios, we need to actually play the situation as well, I feel. Like when you know that certain batters are maybe more comfortable against certain matchups, try to orchestrate or the situation and try to create a scenario where you always putting yourselves in the highest possible opportunity to perform and to get a result in a particular matchup. I feel that we don't think enough on the field, particularly when we certain areas with the bat. We need to think of those matchups. There were certain cases where I felt that David Miller, if we took a single and allowed David Miller to face a certain bowler, rather than the seamers, sorry, rather than Heinrich Klaasen, who was better against the spinners, you can orchestrate those type of scenarios by just taking quick singles. Now that is something that South Africa has really struggled on in this particular game, in this particular conditions, and on these pitches. We've really struggled to to force singles and doubles, something that Bangladesh did really well, I feel, in their batting innings. Okay, they couldn't find the boundary as fluently as we did, but they managed to keep the runs ticking over and kept the game level right through their innings with the bat. So that's something that we really need to find a way to do. And this has been a problem that I feel South Africa's had for quite some time now. And I think it's a problem that we have in all formats, not only in T20 cricket. Because in T20 cricket, okay, for example, you're not necessarily, it's not a game or a format where you think that you're going to need a skill like that. Generally speaking, you don't necessarily need a skill like that, being able to um, manipulate the ball and to where you want it to go and control those type of shots so that you can get singles and rotate the strike and keep pressure on the opposition bowlers. Because on a pitch like this, that's when those dots pile up. That's when we get those scenarios where we are um, under pressure trying to look and search for runs. So something that we need to look at is definitely that. I think we need to find ways. JP Dumini needs to work with the players to find a way on how we can do that, because that's something that we do struggle. That was the only partnership and the only performances with the bat that we could really be proud of. Obviously, Heinrich Klaasen and David Miller. What Keshav Maharaj was doing in that final over, I have no clue. Again, should have tried to look to put Janssen on strike. Janssen sweep shotting the spinner, the reverse sweeping a spinner on the final ball of the over. Um, to put Maharaj on strike was a move where I feel was the incorrect one. We need to think on our feet. Again, like I said, we need to think about how we can put ourselves in situations where we are always giving ourselves the best opportunity to maximize the the deliveries that we are facing towards the end of an innings. So trying to put ourselves into those matchups where we know that we stand the highest chance of succeeding. And I think that's something that we need to learn, definitely. We ended up with 113 for six, and Bangladesh had needed 114 to win. I need to give credit to the Bangladeshi bowlers. They were absolutely phenomenal today. I think Tanzim Shakib was fantastic, especially opening the bowling. Taskin Ahmad, we always struggle against him. He was brilliant as well. And I want to give a shout out to both of those bowlers. I think they bowled fantastically, particularly in the opening overs. They were bowling good back of the length deliveries. And South Africa actually didn't learn from that. They didn't bowl the same type of lines and lengths that Bangladesh bowled, which was a little bit of a concern for me. But we'll get into that, our bowling performance right now. I don't think we started off as well. We started off exactly the same almost, I feel, as we've done in every single other game. Marco Janssen getting a good opening over, and then KG going for a little bit of runs. But I have to say, congratulations and not congratulations, well done to KG Rabada today. He was pivotal today in the way that he bowled. And this is obviously why coaches will never drop him, because when you need him in tight games where the pressure's on to perform, and maybe someone else or another bowler is not maybe getting the same results, KG does sometimes step up for you. He's that type of player. And today he was that type of player. I think he bowled excellently in the penultimate over. I think he was very good in the middle. So overall, 2 for 19, 4.75 economy rate, brilliant. Once again, Anich Nokia, brilliant again, 2 for 17, 4.25 economy rate. Absolutely brilliant again today. Keshav Maharaj, hot and cold, they obviously were going to target Keshav. We knew that was going to take place. And we saw that happen. But Keshav got the final over. And I do feel, even though he bowled well for the first couple of deliveries, I think those last two deliveries, he was lucky. Two full tosses that could have easily gone to the for six. But we have to give a massive, massive thumbs up to Adam Markram with his fielding on the boundary. Magnificent under pressure to take those catches. So those are two things that we need to be extremely proud of, is the way our captain actually played under pressure with the ball. He needed improvement from him with the bat, definitely. But with the ball in the field today, he was fantastic. And the way he managed these bowlers today, I think he was fantastic. He took some risks, major risks, and they paid off. So 3 for 27 from Keshav Maharaj, although very expensive. Otniel Batman, once again, at the death, great. In the middle, not so much, but at the death, he was great. Once again, that's something that we need to also commend. He didn't get any wickets today, but he bowled well. Marco Janssen, again, fantastic. North for 17, no wickets today, but North for 17 for 4.25 economy rate. So he's doing really well with the ball, and I'm very happy with the way he's performed with the ball. And Bangladesh ended up with 109 for 7, losing by 4 runs. Tawid Ridoy really scared me a bit. He looked like he was in form, and he looked like he could have taken this game completely away from us. But we managed to hold out. We managed to control the game and end up with a victory. Mahmudullah, he was very good today as well, with bat and ball, but with bat, he also seemed like he could have done us some damage. But South Africa have now kept their winning streak against Bangladesh now, 9 out of 9. We haven't lost to Bangladesh yet, and in T20s, and we've continued that unbeaten streak against Bangladesh. So well done to the boys for this victory. Much needed victory, fantastic victory, and I'm happy that we are got over the line in a difficult situation. So that's what I've had to say about it. Please smash the like button, guys. It's very important that you do so. I will open up the lines for you guys if you want to have your say and call in on the show. It is a fan calling show, so you guys can call in. I will post it now in the live chat, and you guys can call in if you want to and have your say about this particular game. I just want to see something. If there we go. Didn't know we can do that. So I'm just going to pin it to the live chat, to the top of the live chat, if you guys want to call in and have your say. Ah, man, stupid. This thing's always giving me problems. Come on. Pin it. There we go. Okay, pin to the live. Oh, no, oops. I pinned Matt's comment. Sorry. Guys, this is giving me issues. The flip. I don't know why doesn't want to work. There we go. Spin to the live chat. Okay, let's get into the live chat and the comments, guys. I can't go right to the top. Your comments are coming in thick and fast, so I'm gonna try and my best to get it from about. Okay, let's get Jordan's comment first. Well done, boys. Uh, Bangladesh bowling fired on all cylinders, and I think that was the decision that I think that we made a bad call with the toss. Is that we know that Bangladesh's bowling attack is good, and we know that they would be fired up. We saw the stadium as well, how many Bangladesh fans there were in the stadium. We know how difficult this wicket is, and if you get your line and length correctly, how difficult it can be to face on this wicket. But we put ourselves in that scenario, brave, and it almost didn't come off. We would have been here, we would have been sitting here probably complaining if we lost this match. And I think we still should call it out because I didn't think necessarily that was the right move. I think that when your top order is out of form, like we have been, and look here, we need to be realistic that everybody's top order is struggling or everybody's batters are struggling in those wickets. But if you get a chance to play to keep us match scenario similar, like for example, you know that you're going to bat first or bat second. If you can control that you're going to bat second consecutively, or you can control that scenario, then do so as an opportunity to get your players' rhythms going. And we had an opportunity to do so because we batted for second in both matches, in the both previous matches. So it was another opportunity of us winning the toss to decide what we're going to do. And I think that if our batters were faced with that similar scenario, there's less things that they need to change um, to be better. When you change it around and you bat first, obviously now the scenario changes again. The situation is different. The strip is different. So you put yourself under extra pressure, plus you out of form. Whereas you only change one, maybe a couple of variables instead of changing possibly everything. The difference in the approach is completely different in chasing and batting first. So we didn't give ourselves the best chance to get ourselves back into form. Now, the problem again here is that when we play Nepal, we're playing in the West Indies. So it's completely different surface again. So that's the thing that we need to decide what we're going to do against Nepal. Lawrence says, why are we making as if SA's top order are the only ones out of form? It's been a struggle for most teams so far in the World Cup. The pitch in New York has been terrible. We can't unsee that fact. I'm sorry. We can't unsee that. Not at all. And it has been really difficult to bat on. But I do feel we could have approached our innings a lot better and a lot different. Um, there are certain things that we could have possibly done to be a little bit more control, have a little bit more control over our innings. Um, the running between the wickets, I feel, can improve. And I think that is something that we could have always improved. Clark says Otniel is him. He'll be key if we are to go further in the tournament. Matt92 says, is Gerald injured? Otherwise, I'll play him and Rickelton against Nepal. Gerald is not injured. They just think that this is the best bowling lineup that we have. Blitz says, was Jansen doing well? Jansen did do well today, but not with the bat, of course. But I mean, his chances of him hitting the ball for a boundary are much higher than Keshav. So I don't know why Keshav was hogging that strike at the end over there instead of trying to look to get off strike. Keshav was excellent today. Why are we sitting here and talk about full tosses? It was the first time in his T20 career he bowled the 20th over. Ask any batter, a low full toss can be difficult to get away. Yes, but it wasn't intentional. It's not like he intentionally bowled that full toss, I don't think. So we can be a little bit critical. He was brilliant. Well done to him for keeping his head towards the end. But that last one was almost a no ball, and it would have been completely a different scenario. And I don't think he 100% meant those deliveries. So we can be a little bit critical about it. But those first four deliveries, spot on. First time he's bowled at the death and he took up the challenge. I commend him for that. And I'm so happy that it went his way because it could have been a very embarrassing. Wouldn't have been very embarrassing. I think we would have been understandable as a fan base that he's never bowled at the death before. So I think that is something that we can say. Well done to Kesha for taking on that challenge and pulling it off in the end. But it was very close to not being the case. Clark says, when we missed out on the run out, I thought, here we go again, 2015 all over again. We're falling apart, typical Proteas. These little moments are very important in all sport. The best teams find a way to win, even win those moments, win those close and difficult moments. Now, I do feel that South Africa is getting better and better at doing that. And in this tournament so far, on this particular pitch, we have found ways to do it. We have found ways to get over the line in tricky situations. I just hope everything against Nepal clicks together and we look a lot and we can win that convincingly with a little bit of confidence going into the knockout stages. Matt says this New York pitch isn't good. The World Cup, especially as the ICC want to grow the game in America. I heard that there was an article going around. I haven't read it, but I heard there's an article going around about the reason why um, that they, there's a theory going around that the ICC almost intentionally has done this by designing wickets like this because of the American public and comparing it to the baseball. In baseball, they don't need a lot of home runs. There's not a lot of points scored, and the Americans are kind of very used to that type of level of entertainment. And the pitchers are normally the ones that are getting all the action, the majority of the action, and the fielders. So to I saw a theory going around. Oh, yeah, it's more of a theory that it almost, but it, one opinion I've seen going around that it could be the case that the ICC has done this on purpose um, to almost attract an American audience that is used to watching baseball. But I don't know how true that is. It's an interesting theory, but I don't know how true that is. Um, Alani says, or Lani, I don't know how to pronounce it. Maharaj got nervous, bowled full toss, full and wide last over when using the pitch was key. Sam says, main problem is our openers, especially Riza, never shows intent, should have come down the track. Lawrence says, when India won in a similar fashion yesterday, no one said it was luck. SA do that today, and it's called luck. Its team is so, this team is so hated. I wouldn't say this team's hated, and I think that analysis is maybe not. Um, this wasn't a lucky bowling performance. I wouldn't say that. Um, and me personally, I didn't watch the India game. To be honest with you, to its end. So I'm not going to talk about that game because I haven't watched it. I only watched the South Africa game, and I'm going to talk about the South African game and what I witnessed. I don't think there's anything wrong with saying that someone has won with a little bit of luck. You need luck to win. That's a sport. In sport, you need a little bit of luck to win. Every team needs a little bit of luck to win. Um, Even the best teams. Now, we put ourselves in the situation to win this game by great performance with the ball. And then towards the end of the match, yes, I feel that in the last two balls of the over, Kesh got a little bit of luck because that ball could have easily gone for six. And he just mistimed it a bit, and it was a brilliant catch on the boundary. And he ended up, we ended up getting a wicket. So, yes, you need a little bit of luck. Of course, you need to win, but that's not a bad thing. That doesn't mean that the team didn't deserve to win. Clark says, we can't survive like this. We can't keep losing 4 wickets in the power play. It's just not sustainable. We just can't. We can't. And we need to find a way on how to do so. And we have to say that by no means should South Africa have been favorites to win this game by the start of Bangladesh's innings. Bangladesh were in the driving seat, I feel, to win this game, particularly in certain cases in this match. They had the opportunity to win it, but they didn't. They didn't take the chance to do so. I feel that India also, yesterday, the batting performance wasn't good enough, and they shouldn't have won that match. Pakistan should have. Pakistan were in a situation where they could have also won it, but they bottled it towards the end. So Bangladesh's collapses at key parts was down to brilliance from South Africa as well, but also a bit of luck. But this bowlers need to get 100% praise for the way they performed. Lawrence says, Khalid, the scathing and negative comments hurled at this team online is so sickening and embarrassing. The way fans have been putting down those 3 wins is so arrogant, almost like we have a right to win. That's why I don't listen to anybody talking on Twitter or X or online. The people making the most noise online, I don't listen to that. It's not important. I listen to what people say here in the live chat. I feel that is a lot more valuable. I think that the comments made on the show in the live chat is a lot more valuable than me sitting on Twitter and listening to some guys talk about things, especially on X. For me, that is or Twitter, on X, whatever the hell they want to call it these days. I feel it's a very negative place. People get there, people get um, what's the word I'm looking for? There's a lot of cloud chasers on X that are getting views and stuff from the from negative comments. Who will make way when the second spinner comes in? Very good question. Very good question. Um, Given the current situation and the way this team is looking, after Abada's performance, you can't drop him. Nokia can't be dropped. Oatmeal can't be dropped. So it makes it a very difficult situation. Um, Marco's bowling beautifully as well. So it will have to. It's going to have to be it's going to be determined on the pitch and what type of pitch we're going to have. Um, like in the West Indies, we know it's going to be a little bit of a slower wicket, and perhaps I feel that someone like Nokia, for example, I feel could probably be rested not dropped, but rested in the game against Nepal, and we can play the second spinner. Um, because I feel that maybe on those wickets, someone like KG and someone like Bartman will probably be more needed on those wickets. So that's a really tough one, given that all of our bowlers are in form. Lorenzo, no one's going to talk about how brilliant Markham's captaincy has been so far in this World Cup. I did already. Yes, he needs to score runs as he's due, but I can remember certain Seppo saying you can't drop your captain. I've already said it on the show plenty of times. On every show I've said it so far, that his captaincy has been really good. So um, yeah, that's my opinion on that. We've got a caller. Stuart's on the line. How's it, brother? Long time no see. Are you there?
Yeah, sorry, my internet's not great. How you doing?
I'm good, and you, man. So, what would
Thanks.
you like to say? Take it away. It's your floor.
Um, yeah, I saw there was a bit of a debate in the live chat. You know, the criticism the batters are getting and stuff like that. And I don't need to kind of sound like I'm sitting on the fence, but I can understand both perspectives. I do think that this pitch has been horrific to bat on, especially with the new ball. It looks more like a sort of test wicket you would expect in England, and it's got the slowest outfield I've ever seen in my life. So I do understand that it is hard for batters to bat on. So I do feel like we have to be lenient with our top order. Um, Having said that, though, I do think that there is a way we could have maybe, as you said, try to take some drop and runs and be a little bit more proactive, especially in the power play, rather than trying to play these big elaborate shots. I felt like there was a way we could have maybe batted a bit smarter. But yeah, I think all in all, I think I agree with Lawrence and I agree with the majority of the people that there are a lot of positives that we can take from these first three games. I do think it's good to see guys like Miller coming into form, and I feel like it was good to see Claasen get some runs today. I know he didn't have a great start to the tournament, but he's been one of the best batters in the past year for South Africa, um, especially against spin. So I feel like there are a lot of positives we can take. I feel like Nokia has been very good the first three games. So yeah, I'm glad to see that he's got rhythm coming in. But yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to see what they do in the next game against Nepal, in terms of who we bring in or if we keep the same team. I'm not sure what the wickets is like, so I don't want to say what I do until you tell me what the conditions are like, but or if you know anything of the conditions. But yeah, I think all in all, we mustn't be too quick to, you know, get too upset about it. So yeah.
Yeah. Good points that you made over there, Stuart. Yeah, like my situation is a bit. I'm in two minds when it comes to a World Cup because I don't think that in T20 cricket, for example, it's maybe necessary for us to really, for example, rest players in a game. For me, I think, especially if the players are not doing well and they're searching for form at the moment.
Mm,
So I think that this team, particularly this batting lineup, that top three, they really need some time in the middle to get themselves um, into the game. If we arrest anybody, I would probably arrest one of the informed guys actually in a match rather than g- rest a guy in the Nepal game because of the situation that we find ourselves in, where there's a whole lot of players out of form. I'd rather rest one of the out of form players. I mean, informed players, sorry, rather than one of the out of form players, because I feel that it's more important for us to have more players in form than obviously out of form. And in a T20 scenario, because of the players that we have in David Miller, and for example, we have a guy like Andy Claasen, I don't think form's important for them. They're not the type of players for me that I feel need form to do well. Similarly for Quinton de Kock, I don't think Quinton de Kock's the type of player that's a form player that needs form to do
mm,
well. He can come off in a game like and do really really well. Whereas Riza Hendricks, I feel, has proven in the past that he goes on and runs. He goes on consistent runs where he has a little bit of form. And form helps him actually a hell of a lot because he's a very much more technical, relies on his technique and timing a hell of a lot. I feel that needs to be spot on for him to really do well because you can see when he's out of form, um, he looks very ordinary. His technique doesn't carry him enough. Whereas with Quinton, when Quinton's out of form, his natural talent and timing can kind of get him away with a quick 18 like he did today, or he can get a quick 40 here and there, even when he's out of form and not really looking really good at the crease.
mm.
Same with Aiden Markram, I feel. He's the type of player that needs that confidence and consistency. So I'd keep them in the team. I'd rather maybe drop one of the X Factor players, maybe one of the senior players, because I know that the senior players will probably perform. They can perform in any given match. It doesn't matter what their form is. That's just my opinion on that. What's your thoughts on that?
No, look, I do think I do get what you're saying. My just concern is, and I don't want to project too much, and like think too far ahead past Nepal and stuff like that. Um, like you, as you were saying, I didn't really catch most of the India game yesterday. I saw the end of it, and my worry is if we playing teams like you know India and Australia specifically, um, they've got players that can very, very quickly take a game away from you. Like we saw what Head and Warner did against England, and we've seen what guys like Bumrah did yesterday, and even spinners like Axar Patel. I was surprised. I actually thought that they were going to play. I know maybe have been a left field chart, and it's not that Keshav played bad today, but I actually said to you that I thought that Bjorn Forte could have actually been a bit of a sharp, in my opinion, because I saw Axel Patel was kind of getting like, was getting the ball on a little bit. Um, but having said that, I just think, we've got to make sure that guys like Quinton and um, I think Aiden is a very crucial player in the team, so I wouldn't really rest him. But I do think we need to I don't know. We had this debate last year. I don't know how crucial it is that we are resting players, but at the same time, like guys also need to. I don't want to say not relax, but it's we don't want them burning out too quickly. Like that's my thing as well. We've got a squad of players. You know, we got to. In my theory is in tournament cricket, you got to make sure that all your guys are ready to go. I think a guy like I don't know if Ngidi could maybe play in the next game. Maybe that could be a shot because he can bowl some decent cutters. I think yeah, it will be very interesting to see what they do. I do agree though that Markram's captaincy was I think today's was excellent, especially I thought the way that he used the fast bowlers at the end. Um, it was very very clever. So yeah, I don't know who I actually would rest. I do think that Quinton probably would be the best candidate if someone was to be rested. But at the end of the day, I can see the arguments for and the arguments against as well.
Mm. Cool. I think this is Kelly in the background, in the back end. I'm not 100% sure. If you want to just confirm
I
that.
was on, guys. I didn't know it was on.
Okay, it is you. Because it says KR, so I assumed.
Sorry, it is me. It's me. It's just somebody who's on a space here and have asked me to talk about South Africa, so
Okay, cool.
I think they're busy. Sorry to
Okay,
interrupt you. Sorry.
okay, no problem. So, Stuart, if you just want to give your final say and your final thoughts going into this match, because I don't think that a World Cup is the right time to maybe rest players and change things around too much when things are working. I feel that they need to put themselves in difficult scenarios as many times as possible leading into the knockout stages. But I do see, I understand your thoughts on that. But I mean, it's T20 cricket. It's not like it's 50 over cricket where I feel it's a lot more draining on the body, etc. But we'll have to wait and see on how we manage that. What's your final thoughts?
Um, yeah, look, I do think you know we definitely in a good space at the moment. Um, I do think even though our top order hasn't necessarily scored a volume of runs that is, how can I put it? Like looks good on paper. I think guys like Miller and Claasen and even Stubbs on Saturday against the Netherlands. I think we've shown that we've got batters that if things do go a bit pear shaped, we can come through. Um, I don't look. It will all depend on the situation. In terms of resting and rotating, all of that. I do see what you're saying about guys getting in. Not to say that Nepal's a bad team because I do think they've got some good players. I just think that we need to be mindful of the fact that we also can't expect a guy like, for example, I don't know, let's say like Shamsi, for example, to just come out of nowhere in a quarterfinal if Maharaj gets injured and all of a sudden bowl and be a world class bowler. So I do feel like I'm glad we did have that series against the West Indies before, but I do feel like guys also do need to have a little bit of match sharpness as well if we are going to do well. But I do understand what you're saying about guys like Reza and um, you know needing to get form. So yeah, that's just my final thoughts. But I am very positive about it. So I do think we're in the right direction, and long may it continue.
Yeah, of course. Okay. I don't know what's happening with oops, with Kelly in the background. I don't know what's going on. The devices keeps disconnecting. Um, but yeah, Nepal is next. So that's going to be an interesting one. We're gonna have to wait and see how they perform, for example, against against Sri Lanka, who also are needing a win. Um, that game is going to be though um, in the West Indies, I think.
Mm.
Let's double check that.
Uh,
Uh, no, it's not. It's in Lauderhill. Okay, so never mind. But this this team is a very unknown team. We don't know much about them. So I mean, I don't think have we ever played against Nepal. I don't even think we have before. If to my recollection, I don't remember.
I don't either. Oh,
So there's not a lot to go by when it comes to heads. I think so. We're going to have to kind of just look at how they performed in this tournament and see, and compare it to that kind of in a way. Um,
do, do you see like? Sorry to interrupt you. I'm not trying to forecast too far ahead into the tournaments and stuff like that, and I understand it will all be conditions dependent and wicket dependent and all of that. But do you see a world where they maybe play an extra batter? Because I know Janssen can bat, and you and I've chatted about this quite a bit, but I kind of almost feel like it's especially today a little bit at the end. I know it was hectic conditions, but I don't think we can be affording to have so many dot balls at the end of the innings. I feel like we need to. I don't know. Could you see that happening later on? Let's say we play in India, because I think, in my opinion, they've got arguably some of, if not the best, fast bowlers in the world. And yeah, I do worry that if we lose one or two wickets early, I don't know how we can recover against them.
Yeah, then we'd have to, and that's our biggest concern is the all round department in South African cricket. We struggle with that department, finding guys that can really bowl well and really bat well in scenarios like a Hardik Pandya, someone
Mm,
of that caliber, or Ben Stokes in the past, that caliber of player.
mm,
So in a game in T20 cricket like this, then you're going to have to bowl someone like Aiden now already in Nepal, because he hasn't bowled any over so far. We haven't utilized him at all. So we're
mm,
going to then need to bowl him and bowl him his full quota of overs if we're going to have an extra batter in the team. If we have the extra batter plus Marco Janssen, that I can understand then, yes,
yeah,
because
that's what I'm thinking.
yeah, that if that would be maybe a scenario that I can probably see happen, rather than having him and Kesha, for example. That I think that would
Mm,
be the incorrect route to go,
mm,
because Kesha for me coming in a T20 game, it's not for me.
mm.
Keshaf is a type of Keshaf is a lot better red ball cricketer than he is a
Yes,
white ball cricketer, in my opinion.
yes.
Um,
But it's not to say as well that, like, I mean, I think his
with the
white ball
bat,
game has come on
yeah.
hugely, especially with the ball. It's not that I'm against him being. I just think that I don't know. I just think at the moment there are a lot of positives, and I do think we are playing well. And I don't want to get too down. I just that is my main concern. But equally, at the same time, of playing against a team like Australia, I want like seven bowlers probably on the park. So I don't know. What
Yeah,
it all
it's tough.
depends. It's above our pay grade, well, above my pay grade.
Yeah, it's tough because you can't predict how a bowler is going to do in a match.
Mm,
You could have a game where Andrich gets plastered all over the ground, even
mm,
though he's in great form at the moment. You can
mm,
get a Travis Head on song in a match where everything he touches goes to the boundary, and that's just the luck of the draw. And that's why I say it's luck is important in a game, in a match, because I mean all teams need a little bit of luck to get over the line. It's just
mm,
how professional sport works. I don't think any team has won major trophies without a little bit of luck.
Yeah.
It happens like that. It just is the case. Particularly, you can see teams. For example, I'll use United as an example in the Premier League seasons when we won. For example, 1998, 99 season when we won the treble, as well as 2008 when we won the Champions League. In both of those games, it took luck to get us over the line, regardless of how great the team was all season, winning the league, dominating, playing well, winning the league, where consistency and consistent performances is the only way you get victories. The league is all about consistent performances, whereas in a cup games, one-off games, where you need to win, you can't draw, you have to win. Those type of games, you need a little bit of luck in it. It's just a matter of the it's the way sport works.
Mm.
For example, South Africa have been on the bad side of luck in certain knockout games. You could say in
Really?
1999 semi-final, the run out was unlucky. The way we ran ourselves out, the drop catch from Herschel Gibbs was unheard
Yes.
of.
Hansi
Australia needed
getting
that little bit of luck to get in over the line in
yeah.
those games.
No, you're
So
100% right.
yeah, so you even the best teams need it. Yes, we do see certain scenarios where teams completely play the perfect game and end up just being way better than the opposition and then getting over the line and
Mm.
winning. I mean, even look at England in the 2019 World Cup. They got a hell of a lot of luck in that game against New Zealand to get over the line there with that
Mm.
with a dive at the end where the ball hit the bat and went to the boundary of Stokes. Like this, there was some luck involved in them winning that game as
Yeah.
well. So, and even though they were the best team in the world, they still,
Yeah, I think like sorry, I hate to use the C word again on a cricket podcast that we all hate. It's very taboo. But that's why I also hate the word chokers because I feel like we actually have just been on the wrong end of the luck. You said the '99 World Cup. You can also think of there's many incidents, especially in knockout games, where you just had one or two decisions go against us. Like if you think of Hansi getting caught off his boots in '99, you can think of 2015 wasn't a decision, but a couple of drop catches and misfields, as people said in the comments. So there will be moments where we are going to be under pressure in this World Cup. But I think what's really impressed me so far, especially about what like Aiden's captaincy and stuff like that, is it seems like he's taking it one ball at a time, which is um, I found really impressive. Like with his field placings and stuff like that. And I do think it's yes, guys are gonna maybe bowl a full toss here and there. Like I got to admit that at the end, I thought it was game over when Aiden caught what's his name on the boundary with the full
yeah,
toss. But it's I just think it's like the guys in this team that I think are doing us proud, and we can see that they. I don't want to sound cliche and like kiss up or whatever, but I do think you can see that guys are fighting hard for the badge, and it's the first time that like in a while that I as a fan am like I can genuinely say like wow, like I can see like there's a bit of like I want to say like dog in
yeah.
um, and that's what I love,
I
and
get the
it's
dog.
I'm look I do think ultimately as a fan everyone's going to have their own opinions. I do agree with you that maybe we need stability, um, but yeah, it's also going to be conditions dependent, and also like yeah, it's above my pay grade. But I do think it's just I don't want us to be in a position come a game against Australia where let's say we have to play a guy like, for example, like Gerald Coetzee, may not have played in 5 or 6 games, and now we're expecting him to be, you know, bowling 100% accurately against a guy like Chavis Head or David Warner. So yeah, I think it is something that has to be considered, but yeah, it's so far so good. I'm very impressed.
Yeah. Anyway, that's the show, guys. Thanks a lot, everybody, for tuning in. Stuart, thanks a lot for calling in. We will do a preview show a little bit later, just before the day before, probably, or the 2 days before the next match. So, guys, tune in for that. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and click that notification bell if you're new. We're getting closer and closer to the 5,000 subscriber mark, and we need your help to do so. So please go ahead and do that right away. Thanks a lot for watching, everyone. Thanks a lot, Stuart, for calling in, and I'll see you guys again very soon with another preview show. Stay safe. Enjoy the rest of your day and your evening. Peace out, everyone.